All right. So let us just quickly revise what we saw yesterday. So day 4 we saw mostly about the commands. This were the commands. If you want to determine where you are in your directory structure, you use the command pwd. It will print you know the location where you are currently in. By default, whenever you log in, you will always reside in your user's home directory, that is /home/username. Viewing the content of file, you use cat command basically to print the output of the file on the screen. Copy command cp is used for copying your files and directories. You can copy the file individually, or you can recursively copy. So -r is option for recursive copy. Then if you want to search for files and directories, we saw yesterday these two commands, find and locate. Okay, so find command is basically used for finding files under the directory tree. So basically, if you want to find files on the file system, it is convenient to use find command, because you can provide the name of the file and other parameters as well. And locate maintains a database. So whenever you create a file, if the locate database is not updated at that point in time, you may not be able to locate the file with locate command. Then we saw about creating, removing files and directories. So we saw about the above commands. They are related to creating files, like removing files and directories. We saw commands like touch command for creating a blank file. For creating directory, we had used mkdir command and rmdir command. And similarly, these two editors, vi and nano, which comes by default on your Linux operating system, this can also be used for basically creating your files. Then we saw about stream redirection. Okay, so in stream redirection, what we saw, a single arrow redirection and a double arrow redirection. Okay, so the default behavior of the single arrow redirection is to overwrite. And if you want to overwrite to an existing file, you will use the right arrow. However, if you want to take input from a file of basically a standard input, you would use a left arrow. And if you want to redirect error, you would use this command, because 2 represents standard error, as we had seen in the file descriptors. 0 is for standard in, 1 is for standard out, and 2 is for standard error. And similarly, for the double arrow, you have got append as the default behavior. So whenever you use double arrow, it will append to an existing file. Okay, and you can even take input from the file, and this can append the error into an existing file. Also, if you see, if the file is not existing on the file system prior to running this command, if you type any command like, let's say, echo hello, and if you type this file like file1, then if the file is not existing already, then it will be created for you, both in case of single as well as double arrows. Then we see then we saw about command redirection. So command redirection with the help of combined redirection, basically with the help of both this stream redirection command, single arrow and double arrow. So we saw about this example where we are copying, where what we are doing is we are providing the output of this file, basically the content of this file as an input to the word count command, and the output of word count, which will count the number of lines, is then stored into lines.out. Okay, so this was one example that we saw about the combined redirection. Pipes is also one way of redirecting your input and output. So pipes are basically they allow you to print a standard output of one program into a standard input of the other program. So we saw about listing the contents of the directory and then counting the number of lines, words and bytes. What count happen L will count the number of lines. Then one question Aparna just posted, what can I explain this command basically? So this command, Aparna, what we are doing here is we are using find. Okay, and what you are going to do with this command is to find something in temporary directory which is of type directory. Okay, so this type can be any one of the 5 types that we saw yesterday. If you go to man find, you will find what are the different types of files. Then we are doing execution on the output that we have found here, and we are just long listing it. However, this command will not work because here comma tty, this is not the actual command. It should be like this. So this command will work. So let me just take this command and paste it here in the chat window. You can try it out. So it will list you all the directories. Okay. Content within all the directories. So here what will happen is you will basically return the directories in temporary directory, basically all the directories, and then you will execute the content of each of the returned directories. Okay. And if you want to only list the directories, then you can use -ld. D will only list the directories, not the content of the directories. Okay. So any questions, any doubts? Okay, so looks like there are no doubts, and we will proceed further now. So let us see some more commands which are used as filters, and which are very used widely when you are inspecting files and folders on the Linux operating systems. So basically what are filters is, it transforms the output of a command and present it in a very meaningful format. Okay, so it will present the output in a meaningful format on your standard out. So whenever you have to find certain strings in a file, or let's say if you want to traverse through the files, through the contents of the files, and if you want to see only a specific portion of a file, you use filters. And how they work is, you will provide some options with those filters, and the filter will search for that pattern that you provide in the command, and it will print you directly on the screen. That is your standard out. So Linux has number of filters. Some of the most commonly used filters are the cat command. So cat is basically used for displaying the text of a file line by line. We had seen this command a lot of times. Today we are also going to create a file with cat command. So we will be creating a file with cat along with the the redirection symbols that we saw. Head command, head is used to display the first 10 lines of the file. Okay, so it will print on the standard out for the first 10 lines of the file. Tail is a reverse of head. It will print you the last 10 lines on the standard out basically. So last 10 lines of the file will be printed on the standard out. Sort command is basically used to sort the content of the file or the result of a command, alphabetically or numerically. You can sort it by different options. Then unique is used to remove duplicate lines. If you want to identify what are the duplicates in a certain file, then you can use unique command. Word count counts the number of words, lines and characters in the file. And grep command is used for searching for a particular information in a text file. So if you want to search for a particular field, let's say if there are a lot of usernames in a file, and if you want to search for only a specific username, you would use grep command. Sed command is another one, that is your stream editor command, and it is used to basically search for patterns, and it is an advanced version of sed. You can search as well as you can manipulate the contents of the file. And finally truncate command. So truncate is used for tr command. I usually call this truncate, but it is also called as translate command. Okay, so it is used for translating characters, deleting characters and modifying characters. Okay, so we will see all of these commands one at a time. So let us quickly switch back to the terminal window. Yeah, so here I am in my temporary directory, and I have a demo directory under which I have a few files. Okay, so the first command was cat command. So here with cat, what I am doing is I am just printing the content of the file on my standard out. So this is my standard out, my current terminal session. Okay, now the second command that we are going to see here is head command. So these are filters basically. So what I will do is, let us do head of this file, check. Now if you see, this is basically printing the first 10 lines of the file. Okay, so these are total 9 lines, and let's say if I want to print only first 3 lines, So these are the first 3 lines. So it includes 2 blank lines as well. That's why it is printing, 2 blank lines along with the first line. So head command is used to check for the first 10 lines of the file. However, you can provide a specific count. So let's say if I want to see for the first 5 lines, then I can provide -n as the parameter, followed by the number of lines that I want to see. Okay, so what is head? So outputs the first part of the files basically. So this is one filter that is used widely whenever you are inspecting any file. So when you are checking contents of your log files, let's say, you would use this command head. Okay, now tail command, the similar to head, there is a tail command, but it is a reverse of head. So it will print you the last 10 lines of the file. So if I do tail of check, it will print all the lines, because in total there are only 9 lines in this file. Okay, so it will print you the last 10 lines, and also it accepts the input with the help of, if you can provide numbers here, like if I want to check only 9 lines, or if I want to check only 5 lines. So it will print the output from the end of the file basically. So only the last from the last part of the file it will print you the output. So it is a reverse of head. Okay, so head will print from the start of the line, start of the file, basically the contents, and head and tail will basically print from the end of the file. So if you see, these are the last 5 lines in that file. And how many number of lines do we have? Let me do with cat-n. So cat command with -n will print the number of lines as well along with the content of the file. So here if you see, these are 9 lines. So both head and tail will print the full file. Okay, because they by default print 10 lines. So let's say if I want to inspect some log file, so if I go to cat var log messages, so messages contains your system related messages. So it is basically it will basically log all the system related logs in this file. So if I want to check the first 30 lines of this file, so what I am doing here is, first I am concatenating this file. So what I am doing, I am printing the content of this file on the standard out. Okay, now this standard out is basically getting redirected with a pipe command. So we saw pipe is used to redirect standard out of one file to a standard input of the other, right? So here the standard out of one file or a command is basically provided as an input to the other command. So here what I am doing, I am redirecting this full file to head command, which will print the first 30 lines. So these are the 30 lines of my log file basically, and it is getting printed. Yeah, but this you would get that error because var log messages, this file is actually read only by root user. So if you are trying that on my instance, you might face that problem. So you don't have super user privileges, that's why you cannot check or inspect that log file. So this is the instance where he might be trying out the command. So if you see, the user is root and the group is root, and the permissions for root user are required basically to check the content of this file. So if you basically see, these are the first 30 lines of the file, and similarly if I want to check for the last 30 lines, so most recent logs of this file basically, and print 30 lines on the screen, I would use tail command. Okay, now let's say if I want to sort the contents of a file. So let me create a file. Sort example. So I have created a file here with 10 lines. Now if I want to sort the content of this file, basically I would use sort command. So sort will do a alphabetical sort. So if you see, by default it will print you the content of this file in a sorted way, where it is basically doing a numerical sort. Okay, so here if you see, it is considering this as the first argument of this particular content of the file is basically sorted in the alphabetical order. So file 1 both are same for sort command, and it is not numerical sort in this case. If I do sort -n, this will do a numerical sort. So if you see, it is not considering the 0 as the content of this particular file. So this is treated in the same way here. If I do a reverse sorting of this particular file, then you would see, like, it is doing a reverse sort here. So basically here 1 to 9 is getting printed, and 10 is also getting considered as 1 only, because it starts with 1 and then followed by the other number. And then similarly, if you do a reverse sort, R is for reversing the number, reversing the sort order, and then N is for numeric. So if I do a numeric sort in the reverse format, you would see it starts from 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, so let's say if you want to sort the output of a command, basically, then you would use this filter called as sort command. So these filters are important when you have to check for any files or folders, or if you want to inspect the contents of the files and folders. Next filter is unique. So if I do a unique, what is sort? So if I want to find the duplicates in a file, I would use the unique filter. Okay, so unique is used to report or omitted duplicate or repeated lines. So let's say if we check the same example. So there is no unique entry in this. There is no duplicate entry in this file. Every content of the file, everything printed out the file is basically unique in itself. So there is no duplicate strings in this file. So if I go and if I just print file 1 again, and if I copy the content of if I concatenate the content of the file again and do a unique again, you would see file 1 is present twice in the file. So unique is another good filter to check if you have any duplicate entries in your file. Okay, so if you have to inspect the file, you basically use these filters, and unique will print all the duplicate entries of the file. So I have file 1 entry present twice in my file. That's why I am getting 2 in front of file 1. So I am counting the number of entries present in the file. Word count, we saw what word count is. So word count will print the words, the lines, and the number of bytes in a file. So basically if I do cat short example word count, so by default it will print me the number of lines, the number of words, and the number of characters in the file. If I only want to check the lines, I will provide -l and -w for words. So both are 11. So number of lines are 11, number of words are 11, and number of characters, they are 67 in total. Okay. Now the most important command is grep command. Okay. So this is one most important filter that is used very widely. So what does grep do is basically, if you have to find a particular pattern in a file, you would use grep command. So let's say in our example file, sort example, if I want to grep for file, okay, so let us grep for a field called file. So by default it will color the output on the screen. So here if you see, file as a string is matched on all the lines of the file. Okay. So if I want to count the the number of files or number of locations where this particular content is present, I can provide with -c, and it will count me it is found 11 times on the file. Tapender, your question will tell unique lines or unique words. So it will tell you the number of unique lines in the file basically. So the unique occurrences of that particular line in the file, it will see for that. So basically, if you see here, so this file1.txt comes two times in the file, in this file basically. So it is present on the line 1 and line 2. Okay, so it will count you the number of lines basically. So you can check for a particular string that is available multiple times in a file. So we were talking about grep command. So let's say in the sort example I am grepping for file 5. So by default it will print if the the string that we are searching is found in the file, or it will suppress the output if it is not present. So here file 3232 is not present in the sort example file, that's why you don't get any output. However, if it is matching, then you would get the result here. We can even do a lot of things with grep command. It is a very powerful tool. So let's say I want to check for all I want to check let's say 2 lines after my search string. So let's say if I want to check for 2 lines after my search string. So here this is the the string that I am searching with the help of grep command, and -a command is used to print the output of the file after this search string. So after this search string, print 2 lines. So what I am doing here is basically I am printing the content that is matched in the file, and also printing the next 2 lines. So let's say if you want to understand the context behind the search string, so if there is a error message that is logged in your log file, and if you want to understand the context under which it happened, so maybe the context of after printing the error is valuable for you, or maybe the context before the error line is valuable for you, you can use this option. -a is for after, -b is for before. So 2 lines after the search string with -a, and 2 lines after the search string with 2 lines before the search string with the help of -b. So here if you see it is printing the 2 lines before the search string. So you can just provide any number and it will search, it will print all those lines for you. Now if you want to provide a constant context, like print 2 lines above and below both. Okay, so you can even do it this way. You can provide 2 different options to grep. So print me 2 lines above the search string, after the search string, and below the search before the search string. So basically what is happening here is it will print me the output this way. It will print me after the search string and also before the search string. Okay, so this can be done with the help of another option which would be C. It will check for 2 lines before and after the search string, and it will print all of those lines to you. Grep is a very powerful tool. Basically, if you quickly want to check what are the contents of the file, you use grep command. So let us check for errors in our log file. So what I am doing here is basically if I want to check the contents of my log file and only search for errors, so grep err or. So this is a string that would get logged for any error that I have encountered in my system. Okay, so if I do this, you would see there is only 1 line that is printed. So this is the only line that has this search string, that is error. Okay, so only this line that has the search string that I have provided. So it will respect the search string that I provide with the grep command. However, let's say if I want to ignore the casing of this string, so this string has the casing like the first letter is capitalized and then rest are lowercase, right? So if I want to ignore this particular casing, then I can provide -i as the parameter. So -i will search for anything that has error. okay, so this string, so E cannot be capitalized and the rest of the character can be capitalized. So this is used when you want to check for multiple occurrences of the string, whatever the whatever the capitalization of the string is. So if you see here, the lowercase error is also matching, the uppercase error is also matching to our search string, then the capitalized E, RR, OR is also getting matched. So these are the different errors that I have encountered in my log file, and I am only printing the error lines. Okay, so let's say if I want to understand the context of this error, so let's say the error context resides in first 3 lines before this error. So what I would do is I would use B for before and print me the 3 lines before this match string. So here if you see, I will be getting the output in a way like these are the 3 lines before this string. However, here there are no lines before this string, but only here there is another 3 lines before this particular string. Okay, so similarly if you want to search only for lines after the error, 3 lines after the error, I would use -a. So it is printing 3 lines after this error statement. Here there are 3 lines, now it is logging this 3 lines, and then here is the end of the search for that particular string. So grep is a very powerful tool, very widely used, and in Linux mostly when you work through terminal you have to quickly troubleshoot and look for issues. So you use these filters a lot whenever you are inspecting files and folders. Now let's say if you want to check for the files in this directory with the help of grep command. Okay, so normally what you can do first is you can concatenate, or you can print the content of the file on the screen and then pipe it to grep. Okay, this is a practice that you would do, or you can do directly on the directory itself. So what I will do is, if I want to search recursively in the directory, so here I am in the temp demo directory. So what I will do, grep -r and search for bash in this directory. So bash is a string that I am going to check here in this particular location, and dot represents the current directory. So if I do, then you would see like bash, the string is matched in 2 different files. One is check, this file, and second is hello world.sh. So in these 2 files I have found bash as my search string that is available. Okay, and there are a lot of other options with grep, like if I want to, let's say, print the file name, I can just provide -l and it will only print me the matching file names inside which this particular string resides. Or let's say if I want to print the line numbers, then I will provide n option to print the line numbers. So if bash is present on the different lines within the file, then it will also print with the line numbers, and anything before and after the match string will also get printed. So if I do print 2 lines after the match string, then it is also printing me the next 2 lines. So any doubts, any questions so far? We are covering filters and we have covered until grep. Any questions, any doubts? Okay, all right. If in between, if you have any doubts, it would be good, like I can cover this while demonstrating the commands. Okay, so all right, so there are a lot of options in grep. I will definitely encourage you to go and check the manual page of grep. Any commands manual page can be checked with man grep, and if you see, there are a lot of options here, and these options can be used widely, and you can use a number of combinations of different options to get to your string match string in a particular file or folder. Now the next command is stream editor, sed command. So what is sed? Stream editor basically is a very powerful tool in Unix, and it is basically used for printing the match string, as well as, if you want to input certain contents in your file, then it is also used for that. And stream editing is a very very popular tool and very widely used when you are operating widely on a number of files. So let's say if you have this file, for example, short example. Now if I use stream editor, basically what it will do, it will print the content of the file. It will also make modifications into the file. So if I want to do modification into the file, so let's say if I want to substitute something in the file, so what I'll do is I'll use so there is a declaration that you have to do for doing certain substitutions or deletions in the file. So how that declaration will be defined is, you will write a search string in single quotes, okay, and you will do a substitute. So you put s in front, followed by the string name of the string. So s slash, so string name is file. Now I want to replace the file with dir, okay. So, and if I want to do it only for let's say we want to do it only for first line of the file, so if I want to do for only one line on the file, basically what you would do is you would provide first 1s. What it would do, it will search for the string, and it will only do for the first match that is found. So the first match is file1, and it got replaced by dir, okay, and followed by the name of the file. So when you provide the name of the file, it will print the content directly in your standard out. It will not make any changes in the file. So if I do a short example of head, then you see the content is same. However, when you see here, the content is different. What we have provided, it prints directly on the screen, okay. So by default, if the default behavior is to make the changes and print directly on your standard out, okay. So here dir1 is replaced, file1 is replaced, file is basically replaced by dir, and now the content is stored on the screen directly, okay. So let's say if I want to make this change in the file, okay, so if I want to make this change in the file itself and don't want this output to get printed on the screen, I would use -i. So -i, what it will do, it will do the changes in place inside the file itself. So if I check the file, you would see the content has got changed. So the first match of this particular string got replaced by this string, okay. So sed is a very powerful tool. It is a stream editor, so it will do a lot of things, like if you want to delete certain lines in a file, if you want to print certain lines in a file, and if you want to do certain modifications inside a file, then you would use this sed command. This is a most popular used command, along with few other tools like grep and head and tail. So let's say if I want to modify all occurrences of this particular string, so the search string is basically file, and I want to modify each occurrence of the file with dir, okay. So what I will do is I will provide a g here. So this is the basic declaration. Now I provide g here. It will replace all the occurrences of this particular string to dir, okay. So let's say if I want to make this change inside the file and not in the standard output, then I'll use -i. So -i will do the changes in place, like inside the file. So cat short example, if I check, now the contents are basically stored inside the file, and the file has been modified, okay. So this way, like you can make changes inside your file with the help of sed command. And sed command is another very popular tool when you have to work on the Linux based operating system. And I'll show you one more thing where you can try out shed yourself. So yeah. This is the link of a tutorial that is hosted by DigitalOcean. Okay, so this tutorial provides you with the usage, basic usage, and how you use sed command. And the speciality of this tutorial is it will provide you with an interactive terminal. Okay, so I'll paste the link of this tutorial in the chat window and also on Slack. So here you can go and try out sed yourself by starting an interactive terminal, and then you can try out sed command yourself. So it will start a terminal directly in your browser, and you can follow the terminal, follow the tutorial along trying out the command here. So I'll paste this link. You can use this link to learn more about sed and also to try out sed directly in your browser. So the final filter that we are going to see is TR, that is your translate or truncate. Okay, so let's say this is the file that is in place with this output, and let's say if I want to translate the content of this file, so let me capitalize everything matching between small a to z to capital A to Z. So what I am doing here is basically using tr command to translate this string to this string. So anything that matches between A to Z, small a to Z. So if you see here, all on every line we have dir, which is in small. So everything will get matched here and it will be capitalized. So this does the translation. TR is basically used for translating it, and what it is doing, it is looking for any string that is in lowercase and it will translate it to uppercase. So the changes will not be persistent, it will not be stored in the file by default. You will only get your changes on the screen directly. Okay, so if you want to redirect the content of this file to content of this particular command to a file, you would use the redirection symbol. Okay, so if I redirect this to, let's say, capitalized sort example, so if you see the file is now created. So here we are also revising one important concept of stream redirection. So single arrow, what it would do, it will redirect the output of this command, and we are redirecting it to file called capitalized sort example. So here it will override the content of the file, and the file was not present by default on the file system. So what it did is it created the file. So basically, if you don't have the file that you provide here, it will be created for you. Now if I check the content of the file, it will be stored here. So tr command is basically used for translating or truncating the content of the file, and we can even do tr-d. So there are a lot of other options that you can use. So what I have done here is, with the translate or truncate command, what I have done is I have deleted any number that is found in this file. So every line had the number and all of those numbers are deleted. So these are very powerful tools actually, because they can these are called filters basically, and these are used widely when you are inspecting files and folders in a Linux based operating system. So tr, grep, sed, head, tail, and other commands that we saw today, these are very powerful tools, and I'll encourage you basically to go and check for the man pages of this command to learn for different options. So if you know about the options, it will basically be helpful for you to to understand this command and use this command more effectively. Any doubts, any questions so far for the commands that we saw till now? Okay, so we were talking mostly about filters today. We saw this different filters. So the best way to understand these filters is to try them out directly on this terminal. Okay, now we will see more of the commands that also can be used with these filters. So T command is the next command that we can use, that can be used to create a file. We can basically create a file with T command. So whenever there is a standard output that is generated by a command, so if you see here, we are basically what we are doing, this is a command called make. It is basically a build tool. So whenever make will generate any output, it will be written to a file. So here the T command is used to basically create this file and write whatever output is being generated from this command to this particular file. So T command is also used widely, where we only create a file, and if I switch back to my screen, so let's say if I want to, if I have done this change, so let's say if I have deleted this number, so this output of this particular command, so the output of this particular command is getting printed on the standard out by default. So let's say if I want to create a file with T, so sort without numbers. So if you see here, I have used the standard out of this command and created this file with T command. So T, what it is doing, it is now with pipe, it is now accepting the output of this particular command and writing it to this file, sort without numbers. So if I check for the content of sort without numbers, you would see the output of that particular earlier command was stored in a new file. Okay, now T-A basically what it does, it will append the content of the existing files. So let's say if I want to go to the sort example file, and let's say if I want to append this to sort without numbers, then what I'll do is I'll use T-A command. Okay, so what we are doing, we are printing this file content on the screen and then simultaneously appending that to sort without numbers file. So if you see, the contents got appended. Earlier it was already having 11 lines, and then the content of the new file also got appended to the existing file. So T command is used basically to there is a good question, what is the difference between T and arrow redirection? So arrow redirection is basically it will also do the same thing. So if I do arrow redirection like this to this particular file, okay, and what it is doing with double arrow redirection, it will append. So if I do this, what will happen, it will append the content again. So here you see, this is the appended portion that got appended again with double arrow redirection. So it is also one way of appending to a file. Arrow redirection is a way, and then T command is also another way to writing the content to a file. So these two ways can be used, either this way or this way. For doing one single thing in Linux, there are multiple ways, multiple commands, and multiple combination of commands can be used for achieving a single thing, and T and double arrow redirection does that. If I had used a single arrow redirection, then the existing contents will be overwritten and stored. Yeah, so the existing content, like the 33 lines, were deleted and it was overwritten by the 10 lines that this command is generating as output. So the best way to understand these commands rather than the demonstration is to trying out the command yourself. And if you try out the command in a Linux system, that is the best way that you can learn this command very quickly. Now we will talk about two most important files, and these files are basically your /dev files, and these are your device files. So anything that resides in dev is your device file, and we are talking here specifically about two important files, that is your dev tty and dev null files. So both of these file types are basically character device files. So these are not block device files. So block device file is basically the hard disk file. Your hard disk drive is actually classified as a block device file. However, these two files tty and null are your character device file. And we saw, like whenever a user creates a terminal, a special file is created for him, that is that tty file. Okay, and we also can check the process of that particular file by the command tty. Okay, so with tty it will show you what is the particular tty number of that currently running terminal process. So if you see, basically what we are doing here with this command is we are writing to the terminal of this on the screen of the user. Okay, so I'll show you with a demonstration here what this command will do. And /dev null this is a special type of file. Basically it is a null device, so it is also called as a black hole of Linux. So whatever you redirect to this particular file, it will be discarded. So it will be basically removed, or you can even truncate the content of the file by redirecting the output to dev null. So anything that is redirected to dev null will be disappeared, or it will be discarded from the screen. So let me go back to the terminal window, and we will see both of these files. So here I am back on my terminal window. If I check my currently running terminal, so it is this particular device, dev pts4. Okay, so if I check this file, so when I do a long listing of that particular file, basically it is a character device file. If you see, this is a small c appended to the start of the file. Okay, we cannot retrieve the content that is redirected to dev null. So dev null is actually a black hole. So here if you see, like we are listing our current terminal process. So this terminal process is basically number 4. Okay, so I have another terminal started here. So if you check the terminal process of this particular terminal, that is pts3. Okay, so let us just inspect this file quickly. This is pts3, this terminal is pts4. Now if I redirect anything to this particular terminal session, let's say if I want to let us redirect to this particular terminal session. Okay, so if I want to echo 1 on that particular terminal session, the message will get printed in this terminal because this is your pts4. Okay, so let's say if I want to echo hello on dev pts3. So you see the messages are getting printed on those terminal sessions, and these terminal sessions are basically represented in this location dev pts. So if I want to check what are the active terminal sessions available, you would see I have opened 6 terminal sessions. So 3 terminal sessions are available here in this workspace, and then in my another workspace I have 3 terminal sessions open. So this is also one way of identifying which user is logged in and how many terminal session he has opened in a Linux system. And basically, how do you identify what is your terminal process? You type the command tty. Okay, and once you identify this, you can just inspect at this location dev pts. So a long listing of this location will show you the number of users connected and the sessions detail. Let's say if I want to check this on my cloud instance. So this cloud instance I have provided you all the access. So if I check here, these are the following users that are currently connected to the system and they have a terminal session open. Okay, so if I want to, let's say, redirect some message to terminal session, this user want to, so he is connected currently. So if I want to redirect to his terminal session, I would do dep pts 3. So this is the session ID for his terminal session. So this message will get printed on his terminal. Okay. And also one way of checking how many users are logged in into the system, you would use w command. So w command is used to check which users are logged in into the system. So if you check w, these are the currently logged in user onto this particular computer, and I have total 6 users. And if you want to check who you are, who am I, then you would get the currently logged in user. So if you type on your terminal session right now, who am I, you would get your user IDs. Also, there is one way where if you want to redirect something to all the terminal sessions at once. So let's say if I want to send a message to all the currently logged in users from my terminal session, so I would use a command called wall. So what does this wall will do is it will print a message, a broadcast message to all the users that are currently connected in the system, and it will print this message on the terminal session of the terminal session screen basically. So if I provide this command and the message, it will get printed in the terminal sessions. So if you have received this message, you can acknowledge this in the chat window. So the best way to learn more about these commands and the files and folders is to navigate and traverse through the file system. So please make most of the particular instance, cloud instance that I have provided to you. So if you see, Montu has also replied me with the use of wall command, and he is saying hi. Yeah. So this way what we are doing is basically we are just printing the message on the character file. Okay, so this is the character file. So your terminal is a character file here, and this character file it is accepting the input from the keyboard, and it is also printing the output on the screen directly. Okay, and here if you see the messages are getting printed to all users. So you can use wall command to basically talk to a user directly, talk to all the logged in users. So it is good in the case where I want to say maintenance time, I am going to shut down the instance. So you can use this command this way to basically make the users informed like the system is going to shut down and things like that. Yeah. And the other file is devnull. So if you see, devnull is also character device file. So okay, so on the start you will see C, and this is the black hole of a Linux system. So anything that you redirect in devnull will be lost or discarded. So if I redirect anything to devnull, it will be discarded. So the best way is to redirect the content of a file. So let's say if I want to capitalize sort example, these are the content of file. If I redirect it to devnull, it won't be printed, it will be lost. Okay. Navneet, you will not use any command with a capital letter in the front. So in Linux is very sensitive with respect to the character capitalization. So if you use WALL, it will give you wall command not found. However, you should use WALL. So every command in Linux is in lowercase, not in uppercase. Yeah. So this is your basically the dump yard, I would say. So whatever you want to redirect, so we can redirect the errors here. So let's say if I have this file, okay, I am getting this error because there is no such file. So I can redirect my error into devnull with 2. 2 is your redirection symbol for standard error, right? 2 is basically a representation of standard error, and with this single arrow we are redirecting standard error to devnull. Okay, because earlier I was getting this error, no such file or directory, the file does not exist actually, but I am just redirecting my error now to devnull. So if you want to discard the output from your shell scripts, you will use devnull redirection a lot. So I think we are good for today. Just the last slide, which is just a revisiting on the filters. So unique, sort and truncate and translate, these commands basically where you find the number of duplicate lines, you sort the contents of the file and you translate the contents of the file. So just revisiting those commands. Where do we use devnull in day-to-day scenario? So there is a question. So basically devnull is used when you have to redirect something to when you want to discard something in Linux. So you just redirect it to devnull. It is used when we write shell script. So in shell script, let's say you want to ignore the output, or if you want to suppress the output of a command, okay, and that command output is getting printed on your standard out, for example, then you would redirect that output to devnull. Or let's say if you want to suppress the error messages that you are receiving, and if you want to suppress it, you can even use the redirection of error to devnull. So below command, what it will do, it will redirect the standard output to devnull, and the command before, like to and then arrow, will redirect your error to devnull. I have seen widely it is used for in shell scripts and mostly in that scenarios only. Okay, we are I think we have crossed our time limit for today, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Any questions, any doubts for today? Okay. If you still have questions, you can always post your questions here in this Google Sheet. So I have couple of questions. Yesterday I was too busy, I could not take up the questions. So here you can post your questions, and depending on my availability, I will post my answers here. So this slide contains all the questions, and it is pinned in the Slack channel, so you can find the link here. Okay, so whenever I get time, I basically print I basically provide my answers here. Okay, no questions. So what will happen when we fire this command is 1 represents your file descriptor 1, that is your standard out. Okay, so anything that is printed on standard out will be redirected to devnull. So anything printed on the screen will be discarded, in short. Yeah. So let us sign off for today. We have exceeded 5 minutes today, but thank you so much for keeping up with me. And if you are struggling to use these commands, I would highly recommend you to log into systems and try out the command yourselves. And now after this session, I will be pasting the commands that we tried out today in the Slack channel. You can take reference from there. So see you tomorrow. See you basically on Monday now. We will continue our class from Monday at the same time. All right, thank you. Bye.